What if I told you that some of the greatest villains in superhero movies almost played the hero instead? From Loki to Lex Luthor and even the Joker. These actors auditioned to save the day but ended up stealing the spotlight as the bad guy. And in many cases, it was the best thing that could have happened. Stick around, because number 1 is the ultimate example of fate reshaping cinematic history. 1. Tom Hiddleston. Let's start with Tom Hiddleston. Did you know he originally auditioned for Thor? Yep, Kenneth Branagh had him swinging a hammer and reading lines for the God of Thunder. But instead of seeing a mighty warrior, Branagh noticed Hiddleston's sly charm and sharp intelligence. He offered him Loki instead. The result? A performance so layered and magnetic that Loki became one of the MCU's breakout stars with multiple movie appearances, his own Disney Plus series, and one of the most compelling arcs in Marvel's history. It's almost impossible to imagine the Infinity Saga without Hiddleston's mischievous god. 2. Cillian Murphy. Christopher Nolan loved Murphy's talent so much that he screen-tested him as Batman for Batman Begins. He even wore Val Kilmer's old Batsuit. But Murphy wasn't physically the right fit for Bruce Wayne. Instead, Nolan pivoted and cast him as Dr. Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow. And what a decision that was! Murphy's piercing eyes and unsettling calm created a villain unlike anything audiences had seen. His role expanded across the entire Dark Knight trilogy, making him the only villain to appear in all 3 films. This wasn't a downgrade, it was the perfect match. Murphy even said later that Nolan gave him the chance to shine in a role he never expected. 3. Lee Pace. When Guardians of the Galaxy was being cast, Pace actually auditioned for Peter Quill's Star-Lord. But Marvel decided they wanted more comedy, which is why Chris Pratt landed the role. Instead of being sidelined, James Gunn offered Pace the role of Ronan the Accuser, the fanatical Kree villain. Critics may have called Ronan underdeveloped, but Pace's commanding presence gave him menace and weight. He later reprised the role in Captain Marvel, cementing his place in MCU history. And here's the kicker, without Ronan's intensity, the Guardians' humor wouldn't have worked nearly as well. The villain made the heroes shine brighter. 4. Sam Rockwell. Here's a fun one. Believe it or not, Rockwell was in the running to play Tony Stark in the first Iron Man. But once Robert Downey Jr. walked into the room, the role was sealed. Favreau didn't forget Rockwell though, and cast him as Justin Hammer, Tony Stark's sleazy wannabe rival in Iron Man 2. Rockwell leaned into the role with absolute brilliance. His dance entrance, his awkward swagger, and his constant attempts to one-up Tony made Hammer one of the MCU's most entertaining side villains. And while Hammer hasn't returned yet in a big way, fans still quote his lines. Sometimes being the failed rival makes you more memorable than the hero himself. 5. Nicholas Hoult. Fast forward to the DCU. Nicholas Hoult auditioned for Superman in James Gunn's reboot. He lost the role to David Corenswet, but Gunn was impressed and offered Hoult the role of Lex Luthor instead. Hoult embraced it, even consulting Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville on how to play Lex. And early reports say Holt's version is chilling, cerebral, and terrifying. A Lex who's already fully formed and already hates Superman with a burning obsession. Hoult himself admitted, heroes are fun, but villains, they get to have all the best lines. Sometimes losing Superman means gaining the most iconic villain in comic history. 6. Sebastian Stan. Now let's bring it back to Marvel. Before he became Bucky Barnes, Stan auditioned for Captain America. But Marvel saw something different. His darker edge made him a better fit for Steve Rogers' best friend and eventual enemy. That choice gave us the Winter Soldier, one of the MCU's most tragic villains, a brainwashed assassin who once was Cap's closest friend. Stan's arc was so powerful that he went from villain to anti-hero to co-lead in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Stan later admitted that he was glad he didn't get Captain America. Bucky's journey gave him more depth and complexity than playing the straight-laced hero ever could. 7. Heath Ledger. And finally, the legend himself, Heath Ledger. Christopher Nolan once talked to Ledger about playing Batman in Batman Begins. Ledger wasn't interested at the time, but after seeing Nolan's vision, he fought for the role of the Joker in The Dark Knight. The rest? Cinema history. Ledger's anarchic, terrifying Joker changed superhero films forever. His performance won him a posthumous Oscar, and redefined what a villain could be. Here's the irony. If Ledger had played Batman, we might never have seen the greatest Joker of all time. So there you have it. 7 actors who aimed for the hero but became unforgettable villains. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these casting twists do you think was the best? Should Hoult's Lex Luthor, Ledger's Joker, or Hiddleston's Loki take the crown? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and hit subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into superhero movie secrets.